Hi, everyone. Welcome. My name is Mary Nicosia, and welcome back to our election love streaming today. I'm going to be your host along the journey for the next hour or so. And the topic that I'm going to be talking about today is grounding and gratitude. So we'll give everybody just a minute to pop on. And so to start, I would love to read a section from the chapter on grounding from Warrior Goddess Training with Heather Ashimara. As women, we are filled to the brim with stories, woven by learned beliefs and agreements of what it means to be a female, that keep us tied to the past old beliefs. Do you ever feel that you're weighed down by your past and buried under layers of self-doubt, fears, and confusion? When I first started apprenticing with Don Miguel Ruiz and working with the Toltec teachings, I felt like a suitcase that was overstuffed with all the ideas of who I thought I should be. My entire inside world was crowded and heavy. I knew I wanted to lighten my load, but at first I didn't know how to change. I just knew I wanted to. And as I learned to hold myself in a container of compassionate awareness and refrain from judging, I began to note had on my relationship to myself. One day, as I was sharing the story of my life with a new friend, I had an epiphany. I realized that my story was not a factual collection of words describing my life. My story was a heavy anchor. It was dragging behind me while trying to catch the wind in my sails. And let's pause there. So everybody, let's take a deep breath. And no matter where you are, start to bring your body into a place where you can connect to comfort. So if that means that you need to realign yourself in your chair, you need to reposition yourself, maybe even push the screen away so you just hear me or hear my voice, but just softly closing your eyes. So many of you may have been working all day long, may have been busy with your families, with friends, and lots of conversation. Some of you may have been really diligently working by yourself. Whatever the days look like, keep taking a nice big deep breath and through your nose, out with the mouth, just starting to let all of that go. Allowing yourself, keep readjusting if necessary. You could sit cross-legged or put your feet flat on the ground. And connecting to those places, much like in the reading, that may feel heavy. And so let's do this by connecting first by doing just a really sweet body scan, starting from the top of our head all the way down to the bottoms of our feet. And what I want you to feel into is what feels heavy. What feels heavy? So keep breathing. And just start to notice what in my body feels really heavy right now. And as you do the scan, keep touching down in places and keep moving, almost like you're just making a gentle note of your findings. What feels heavy? And as you come to that place, just breathing, nothing to fix, nothing to re-examine or know why. Just notice and keep moving all the way down to the tips of your toes. What feels heavy? Good. And once that feels complete for you, and you have that noted, what I want you to do is you're going to start the gentle scan again. I want you to start at the top of your head. Bring your gentle awareness down through your body, all the way down through your feet. This time you're going to scan for, where is there a place in my body that could use a little movement, but it just has this sense that it's ready to let go. It's ready to let go of something. And you may notice that the places that need a little movement or are ready to let go may not necessarily be the places that feel heavy. And that's okay. And they may be the same. Okay, so keep breathing, scanning. Good. So let's go one more round through with the scan and all the places that are needing movement or motion or feel like they're ready to let go of something. So what I want you to do is stay with the feeling sense of it in your body. You don't need to go into story or know why, just really trust the wisdom of your body. And I want you, if you need to stand up or if you need to move in some way, if you need to place your hand over that part of your body and maybe do a little bit of tapping, but just give yourself what you need based on what you sensed on the letting go. So you can let some sound out. You can do some tapping. You can wiggle in your seat. You can kind of shake a little bit, whatever feels like that you can do within your body just to start helping that to let go. Keep breathing, letting go, breathing, letting go. Good. And all this shakes out. Some of you may feel inspired to sing. Good. And once that feels complete, we're going to do one last scan, getting nice and grounded. I want you to revisit the places that feel heavy. So go ahead and place your hands there. Keeping your eyes softly closed. And choosing one of the spaces and settling your hands there. Asking your body, what is it that I need? What does this space need? This heaviness. And just making a note. And then as if you are giving like the biggest, most gigantic hug to a loved one or friend, you imagine scooping them in your arms. I want you to bring that kind of energetic, have it move out from underneath your hands and into the space. As if you are bringing all your love, compassion, sensitivity, presentness to this. Whatever that may be. And taking a breath. Good. And taking one nice big cleansing deep breath in and out, imagining it sending it down your spine. And then when you feel ready, opening your eyes and being present here with me now. We did it! We slowed down and engaged with our body. We asked ourselves what we needed and gave ourselves hugs. That's great. Good. And why I'm giggling and congratulating us is too frequently we can get really engrossed with our day, and specifically with the energetic of our mind and where we're needing to be and what we're needing to do next. And so we can spend a tremendous amount of our time speeding through our day from next event to another, or even like next mental concept or story. And we completely bypass the fact that we are having a potentially amazing emotion and having needs in our bodies. How many of you have gone through most of your day and at one point thought, man, I really need to pee? And then 2 hours later, like, oh, I never went to the bathroom. So something like that, right? We'll get really caught up. We'll kind of abandon some part of us that's maybe slowly and sweetly starting off by going, hey, buddy, I have a need. I have something that needs to be addressed. And our mind takes over. And a lot of times the fear of needing to get the next thing done, quick, right? We have a schedule. So having the capacity, no matter how silly it may seem, because I imagine all of us have tremendous to-do lists and a lot of people that need us and things that we need to get done all day, still slowing down to check in. And that is a huge part of grounding. So what does it mean to ground? Grounding to me is truly embodying and embracing your human experience here by remembering I am in a body. And the magic that truly can take place for us here in this human experience comes because we have this vehicle of being in a body. And a lot of times we have plenty of good reason. We may have aches and pains. We may be really uncomfortable with what our mind is doing. And so there's a tendency for us to distract. And it's wonderful to surprise ourselves. And I would love to hear what some of your experiences were once you were able to slow down and actually ask your body what it needed, or just notice what is heavy or what's happening today, what happened for you. A lot of times when we just simply bring our attention, and not a story or a mental concept or needing to fix or problem solve, to an area of our body and just breathe with it, that can be really alleviating for stress and anxiety. So there's a lot happening and a lot of tension in our world. And there's a lot that's uncertain today. And what is brilliant with dealing with uncertainty is coming to and remembering to come back to our sensory experiences. And a lot of times that can simply look like just engaging in touch in a place of your body that's uncomfortable and bringing it love. And again, just asking it what it needed. So I can see comments coming in. I don't always know. Sometimes they say Facebook user and they don't have a name attached to them. And so I just want to go through and check in with everybody and say hello to everybody who's viewing. Anne says her heart. I think that was back when we were talking about the heaviness. Yeah. And breathing with me. Hi from Connecticut. I'm in New Mexico right now. And it was a pretty beautiful day. Oh, someone says slow and steady wins the race. Yeah. And the capacity to kind of slow down and be really patient with yourself and what's happening. From Morocco. Hello from Morocco. Wow. Hello, welcome. Valerie says, that's my issue right now. Yeah. Someone from Albuquerque. Excellent. Welcome. Someone mentioned being aware of my energetic body has created so much freedom for me personally. Yeah, absolutely. And Heather Ash talks about this. When we're little kids, nobody sits us down on their knee and says, listen, you actually are an energetic body. Your magnitude and capacity to expand past what your mind knows, right? Like some of us may have gotten that wonderful talk from our parents around being an energetic body, and that's awesome. I know that I didn't. One of my first experiences ever of realizing, really coming into intimate connection of what does it even mean, my energetic body? What does connecting to my energy look like? How can I even ground with that? Was the very first time I met Heather Ash. So she came to my acupuncture school and she taught spoon bending to the group. And the entire premise of the class really was around not so much can I bend a spoon with complete ease like butter, and many of us did. And the important part of that was how powerful we are when we're able to magnetize and get really present with our energy and what our energy is doing, that we have the capacity to move through a tremendous amount of obstacles in our lives just by raising or lowering our energy and kind of playing with that vibration. And I remember we broke into partner work and it was a lot of fun. And hello from Rochester. Hi, Candace. Oh, from Australia. Beautiful. Hi, Leanne. From Canada, BC, Canada. Welcome. I had a hippie mother and she totally talked about stuff like that. And that was important. I was grateful. That's awesome. That is awesome. Another viewer, Tamara from Australia. Welcome, everybody. Yeah. So grounding, coming back to that. So all of us, and I mentioned this, some of you may have joined me. We do a Warrior Goddess summer camp. And I did a segment on connecting to your intuition. And this actually is applicable to grounding. What does it mean to ground? And so the connection to this is that there is some part of us that we have a sensory experience around that we're more comfortable going to because we can receive the greatest amount of information. And so in order for us to really know what's happening for us and how we can bring the best self-care and attention to our lives, it's important for us to slow down, get really present, and actually ground. So then you have the capacity to go, okay, I may be in a state of overwhelm right now. What's happening in my emotional body? What's actually happening? So imagining that scan that we started with earlier, what's actually happening in my physical body, right? And connecting to it. Another beautiful technique for grounding is just at the least going outside. So having connection or touch to trees, to the grass, to the ground, to literally touching the earth. It's why so many of us are really comforted by gemstones, holding rocks or different stones. There's something that's very grounding to our physical bodies to that. And it's that aspect within ourself of earth that it's able to talk to earth. So earth talking to earth. Another area you can focus that can really help ground you is your spine. So in your bones. So if you can imagine getting really aligned, making your spine nice and straight, and then slowly breathing and dropping your breath into each vertebrae all the way down to your tailbone, and then using imagery to root into the ground. And Heather Ash does this grounding practice in a lot of her classes and in her groups. And that was actually the first time I learned how to ground. And I was extremely rebellious around it. I thought it was really boring. And I was like, why are we doing this? I hate guided meditation. And that's hysterical now because I teach some kind of guided meditation in all my classes because I'm so in love with it. So I actually started in the earlier part of my life with pretty debilitating anxiety. And so what I discovered what was happening is that I was rebelling against really wanting to be in my body and to slowing down. So once I was able to develop some practices, and a beautiful way to do that is by using the imagery of your mind, right? So imagining, placing your hand somewhere, bringing love somewhere, imagining your spine and breathing all the way down. The mind can actually ally with the body to help bring you into a state of relaxation. So that is grounding. So I'm curious, any of the viewers out there, if you have any experience with grounding and what you like to do to feel grounded and help get you in your body. And then if anyone else would love to share about the grounding practice that we did earlier, and we'll probably do another small practice again. Hi from Missouri. Be Here Now. What a great book. What an amazing teacher, Ram Dass. Absolutely. Be Here Now. Yeah. And someone says, oh, sitting up straight and grounding just feels wonderful. Absolutely. It really does. Other ways I like to ground, sometimes I get some low back pain. And if you suffer from low back pain as well, or kind of aches and pains in your neck or in your shoulders, one trick is that when I meditate or I go to do my grounding practice, I'll make sure that my back is resting up against something comfortably. And it sounds very simple. And a lot of times, whether we're doing a yoga practice or we're in meditation, it's taught that you're supposed to hold your spine up, suspended on its own. And what I was discovering is that actually didn't feel very nourishing to me at all. I was doing meditation daily and kind of forcing myself to keep my body in this position because I had this belief that if I was meditating right or grounding correctly, that's the way it needed to look. And then actually it was hurting. It was straining my muscles and it didn't feel good. So I am also an acupuncturist, and I've studied Chinese medicine and Japanese medicine techniques. And our kidney and kidney meridian is rooted to the base of our body. So something that's called our dantian, which is our life gate, where it's kind of the seat of the fire, of where our energy resides, the main part of it that we were born into this life with. So that fire, that pure primal fire that we have. And that is continually supports the kidney meridian and the kidney organs in our body. Well, those reside in our low back. So if we're a little deficient because of anxiety or other things happening in our world, or we're worrying or very busy with work or with family, a lot of that can feel depleted. So we may go into a meditation practice, hold our body really uncomfortably, and really what we're needing to do is support that lower end of our body and that kidney meridian by leaning. I just want to give you full permission to do so, to make sure that when you go to sit and do your grounding practice, that your body's comfortable. And just notice how you want to be. The way we hold ourselves in the world and our posture can give us a tremendous amount of information of just where we need extra support and love. So a lot of times we come to areas in our body and we're just kind of unknowingly whipping ourselves and being really, really brutal. And one of the things is sit up straight. And sometimes sitting up straight feels delicious, right? It can open up our lungs. It can open up our chest cavity. We can breathe easier. We may notice that we cross our legs consistently and then actually have hip pain. That can be low grade. So starting to gently bring awareness into your body, especially when you're worried about something or you're worried about the outcome of something. Notice how you're holding our body. A lot of times, once our body starts to cry out and is having pain in some area, it's generally because we've been holding a tremendous amount of tension there for some time. So just using your breath, making sure you're comfortable, all beautiful grounding practices. I really appreciate you. I focus on my crown and third eye. Loving. Hi, Leslie. Great. Yeah. If you could also, if you'd like me to know who you are, if you could put your name, then I'll know who you are, because a lot of the comments come through and they just say Facebook user. Yeah. So different places in our body feel more grounding than others. So that is grounding. So let's talk a little bit about gratitude. Gratitude. There is something really spectacular. So at the first part of the call, part of our grounding practice, what I asked you to do was do a scan. And this is for those of you that have just joined us. And notice in your body, just softly, without judgment, where you feel really heavy. And then we went back through again, and we connected to bringing our hands physically to that place on our body, and then bringing love to it. And so what helped is that I asked you to pull up some kind of imagery of you grabbing someone that you loved deeply and pulling them to you. And this helps to self-generate the feeling sense in our body. And then the magic is, with physical touch, with breath, with focus, we actually can bring that to ourselves. So a lot of times in our world, we spend a tremendous amount of energy giving love and gratitude out this way. And that's spectacular. And can end up getting depleted and not realizing that we actually, as the source of that, need to take breaks and return that to ourselves. So what gratitude and gratitude practices do is it honestly releases an energetic in the body that's healing. It's really transformative, it's really healing, and it can help us to start releasing, especially these mental patterns we may notice that we're just having such a hard time pulling ourselves out of all day long. So what ends up happening is we accidentally trip into an eddy of what Heather Ash calls disaster mind, right? One thought comes in and we're off to the races with it, okay? Sometimes what even happens is it may involve another person, and then, you think you're just washing the dishes and you come up for air 20 minutes later and you've had a full conversation with someone else in your head, maybe even an argument, right? If you're able to stop and feel what actually was happening in your body, by imagining that, you're recreating or generating that emotional sense as if that's happening right then and there. So the power of coming to your mental process, not from a place of judgment, because usually if you come at something like this, it just kind of tightens the grasp, right? I shouldn't, how does that feel in your body? We can even look. You should not be having negative thoughts. You should not be beating yourself up, right? Your whole body wants to clench down around it. The shouldn'ts, I shouldn't be. And I shouldn't be this. I shouldn't be doing this, all sweet day long, right? So take a breath and just acknowledge that it happens and it's okay. So coming to these mental cycles of what's happening, as soon as we notice that they're happening, or you're at the kitchen sink and you're washing the dishes and you're imagining arguing with your beloved and you realize it, celebrate that you realized it. See if you can shift, do a little dance move, flip that, wash towel around, whatever you need to do. So what you're doing is you're breaking up the energy. Okay. So again, if you were to come into that moment and be like, oh, darn it, I wasted 15 minutes arguing in my, take a breath, makes the whole body tight. So when you have places of awareness that you're doing something, just by simply being like, ha, I see you, can shift it. So then what? Okay. When you come up for air and you have the capacity to, filling that moment with some kind of energetic that is love or gratitude can be super profound. And so in that moment, you may not be able to shift gears like that. And that's okay. So what we want to do is develop a practice with ourselves where there's a designated space and time when we have the energy, when we're not heated in a disaster mind or a stressful situation with someone, or thinking about a stressful situation where it's heightened and then we try to come in and shift it. That can be really hard. And a lot of times we're setting ourselves up for failure. So we want to have a separate time of the day where it's just designated, where there's focus, where we can start building those muscles up within our system of when we need to reach for, I need a break in my system, which is a gratitude practice or a loving metta practice. And I believe I saw on the schedule Serena is going to be doing one later. So let's talk about gratitude. How would we do this? What would this look like? In the word thank you. So there will be some days I will be in a funk and I don't even need to know why. I'm sure if I looked, the story would be there. At this point in my journey, sometimes I'm able just to be like, whoa, I feel off. What I'll do is I will come to a place that I've created. And this can be really easy. It can be a small place in your home. I even have something in my car in the area where I work where I can either quickly light a candle or I can put out like a little stone. I can carry it in my purse. But it's a marker for me of something that's really special. It's sacred. And it comes out in either my moment of need or during my gratitude or loving practice. And there's something really sacred to this. One, when we keep bringing our energy even to matter or a physical object, we help activate that, right? So if you think about this from human to human, when one of us is in a mood and we just stand next to each other, it can get contagious. Well, the same thing could happen. There can be an exchange in something that's really special for you. And that energetic exchange that can help bring you to that place of sacredness, that you're ready to do your special thing, you can get there by any one of the senses. It can be something that you smell and it activates it. It can be something that you hold, and it can be something that you even just look at. So I actually, on my speedometer in an area that's safe, I have two little spaces of the goddess, which is my version of holiness or of spirit. The image that I choose, they're like in between the dials, like when I'm going 85 and speeding, I can look over and see a holy object. No, it's there as a marker for when I need it, as a reminder of, okay, this can help me center, okay? Center into gratitude, center into love. Some people have little sounds. When you're, another great imagery or sensory experience is actually listening. So if you have, you could even change your ringtones on your cell phone if you're needing a little extra support, just as a little reminder that will help pop you out of things through the day. You can choose a totally different playlist, totally reprogram what it is that you listen to on your way to something or as you work or as you cook, some kind of reprogramming. So you want to engage before your gratitude practice the senses in some way and make it really special for yourself. And so let's actually pause for a second. And like, I want you, if you can, if you feel comfortable, so either in your mind, but really out loud, if you can, I want you to say, thank you. Thank you. And I want you to feel what happens in your body when you say it. And you may feel more comfortable saying thank you in a different language. If you do say thank you in a different language, will you put it in the chat so I can read it? We can learn new ways to say thank you. So thank you. Thank you. And closing your eyes for a second, when's the last time I said thank you? Either to myself or to someone else. Maybe it was a random thing that happened. You found $10 on the road. You're like, thank you. When is the last time I said thank you? Okay. So this is not an opportunity for you to judge yourself if that's happening. Right? So naming everything that might happen with love, inspiring freedom, set yourself free from that. And you may not be able to remember, and that's okay too. Okay. So now, oh, nice. I'm going to focus and get this right. Teozo kamate. Did I say it right, Alea? Nice. Okay. So if you have a different way of saying thank you, that's what I was asking people to put in the chat. So now I want you to imagine someone who has said thank you to you, or just the general feeling sense of someone or something saying thank you. So another way to feel or experience this is if you have, let's say, gone to a mountaintop or been to a beautiful meadow, or maybe even the first time you saw the ocean. Haven't seen someone in a long time. What elicits, like really expanding in your body, really expanding in your mind, the way thank you can be experienced. Thank you. It could be like after a really long day and you have this big, juicy plate of food, or when you take your shoes off after work. When you get done with a stressful situation, or like a presentation or a meeting, or say your child is standing on a stage at a recital and they finish and they complete it, right? Thank you. Thank you. All the different ways we feel and experience thank you. Yes, and someone says gratitude is so much more profound in light of COVID-19. Absolutely. When you're able to touch someone or be touched, or even just the feeling sense that that's not able to happen, just thinking of the person or the capacity to do that, the gratitude that can well up, that is thank you. We have another one from Robin. Niboyola. I love this. Thank you. Thank you. So let's do this. So just kind of breathing in. So keep playing with that imagery of that thank you, of like all those examples we just went through. And just notice what's happening in your body. So one way to do this is to wake up in the morning or before you go to bed. And there's lots of practices that do this. And you just begin to mentally connect with your day, which is, where are the places I can say thank you? Where can I say thank you? I cannot emphasize enough how this will change your entire life. Because you will realize as you start to move through your world, it'll start coming out of your mouth more, or you'll start noticing things more. And the magnitude of this expression, there's something that's magical about it in terms of it's the gift that truly keeps on giving, because others and the world resonate When you come up against someone who is deeply gratitude and grateful for something, usually the experience that we have isn't to like, oh, I gotta get away from them. Like, ew, they're so happy and grateful. And maybe that is true. Maybe we're having a really crummy day and we're like, I'm in a mood and I'm not into this. Okay. And I want to encourage you, even in that moment of going, I just gave myself what I needed. Thank you. I just moved away from something that didn't feel good. Thank you. Right? Lots of different ways to play. And a lot of times when someone is open in that way or in that expression, can really attract or build the energetic. It can increase. Thank you can turn into more thank yous. Let's just say that. Oh, somebody typed characters in. Beautiful. Service work and being grateful for that. Maybe I'm a Pollyanna. Ooh, but I don't, sorry, it moved. I'm a Pollyanna, but I don't care because that's where it's at. Yeah, go. Thank you. I said thank you to grocery store staff, road workers, sanitation workers, pretty much anyone working in public. Yeah, thank you. Right? Just watch what happens. So let's go back to basics. Gratitude. So even if you don't write this down in the morning or at nighttime, you can give yourself 2-3 minutes and just think about it. You can just do one thank you. And again, you're expanding out to things that have occurred in the world, beauty that you've seen, experiences that you've had, people that you've been with, things that you've done for yourself that you're really proud of. Sometimes we move through stuff silently that nobody has any idea what a big deal it was for us to do that. Nobody has a clue, but we do. We know what a big deal it was for us to get on the highway that day, right? And you describe it to somebody, like, I got on the highway today, who may get on the highway 10 times a day, right? There may not necessarily be a match there, and that's okay. That's not what you're looking for. So when you do this practice, no matter how small or large your mind wants to make it, thank you. Thank you. So I'm on something called StreamYard. I'm, not very technically, logically advanced. And today was my first time teaching on this where I didn't have a helper. Thank you. There's people. It's working. I'm teaching, right? And that may not be a big deal to anyone else, but I was able to do it. So really, a thank you can be a celebration of ourselves too, right? It can be celebratory. Even in the darkest times, being able to find things to be grateful for, just seeing them becomes a habit. And that helps distract from the dark, letting us see ways to grow, to change, and to be positive. Yeah. So what that is, where are we choosing to put our attention? So in these moments when we're either journaling, we're thinking, we're in this practice, we're rubbing our stone in our car, whatever it may be, we're making a choice, a conscious choice. And sometimes getting there isn't always comfortable. Sometimes you may decide to do your gratitude practice before bed, and you're like, I just want to turn on Netflix and zone out. That's fine. Okay, you're going to have nights like that. See still, if you can sit with the discomfort of that, promise yourself 2 minutes before you turn Netflix on and go for it. Right? So starting to parse out, sometimes when something can feel a little uncomfortable for us, that it doesn't mean that there isn't any reward in it for us. And reward, I mean like that juicy feeling of like, yes, thank you. It makes a difference. Hi, love. Hi, love. I wish I knew who you were. It says Facebook user. Thank you for all the hearts. I love you too. I'm not familiar with Yardstream. Yeah. Maybe we could talk about it later. It's pretty cool. And it really wasn't that hard. But yeah, thank you. One bad moment doesn't make a bad day. Yeah. Finding the multitude of little beautiful moments that share light and love. Yeah. Right? Where we're putting our attention. Where do we choose to put our attention? Gretchen says, thank you. Thank you, Gretchen. Thank you for showing up. Thank you. Can you talk about Días de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead? Oh, yeah, let's do that. And let's do it in this way if we can, please. Who along our ancestral line in our family that has passed, who has died, would we like to say thank you to? So you can either call them up now in your mind, in your heart, in some way special within your body. You may pull their picture out later in whatever way you want to honor them. Just inviting you to take a second and give them a shout out if you feel comfortable within your heart or within your mind or within an action that you do later on today, and just saying thank you. Thank you for your life. Thank you for the aspects of who you are that still live within me. Thank you. Good. Okay. So combining gratitude with groundedness with this practice, it's really a beautiful combination. So you can hold something or put on sound, again, the sensory experience that feels grounding, and then begin bringing things into action, whether it's mental, vocally, or written. And again, really, we don't want to set ourselves up for failure around this. So we don't want to wait for the most intense moment when we're so angry at someone or something and be like, I have to do my gratitude practice. Right? They call it a practice for a reason. Right? And this commitment to get up and like almost exercise or just spend time with this aspect of yourself, just to really fill yourself up. Good. Your mama, she died 12 years ago on All Saints Day. She lives in me. Beautiful. And honoring her. Thank you. Thanks the dark side for the lesson. Yes. In all the ways we learn and love and be within the dark. Yes. Thank you for the ripples and seeds you shared in my life. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you. Yeah. Yesterday, with one of my friends, she had her grandma pass away last week. And we went out to a grandmother tree here where I live and just set out things that she loved. And I was able to connect with my two grandmas that have passed away and say thank you to them. My grandma Stella, who was ultimately glamorous. She wore big, beautiful jewelry and just had this really expansive, amazing heart and personality. And my grandma Josephine, who loved really big and sat down each one of her grandkids and said, don't get married, just travel. And this is a woman who was married her whole life and had 10 children. So to speak her truth, and yeah, beautiful. So Josephine and Stella, and honoring all your loved ones too. Is it okay to feel like hibernating now? Absolutely. Go give yourself what you need. So we're moving into a seasonal time where we're moving within. So the fall, things begin to fall away. So the things that we don't need anymore, right? We were literally internally also mirroring what's happening in nature. So as the leaves begin to fall off the trees, and this helps the trees conserve energy that they need for the winter, right? We're also allowing things to fall away. So this closed in feeling, I actually can relate to it, which is I just feel like I need more rest. So it's not necessarily attributed, not really to any emotion for me even. So you may just feel the sense like I just want to be alone, and that's okay too. Okay. Awesome. Grateful for all my lessons and adventures with my mom. Her spirit is close. Yeah. Needing our love and honoring Gretchen's mama. Good. Okay. So starting to wind down our time now, and let's actually do it by bringing in our gratitude practice. So if you have paper near you or something near you, you don't have to. Some of you might be doing something else. That's okay. But go ahead and close your eyes and place your hands somewhere on your body. And first start out by saying, either in your mind or your voice as loud as you can, thank you. And starting to call in that imagery, maybe even just from today, of all the things that you are grateful for. And it could be loved ones that we just spoke of. And maybe even the ways that have challenged us, that we just have a knowing within our being, are allowing us to become stronger and more deeply rooted. Good. And now starting just to allow the sensation that may feel like expansion or loving or warmness, just start to let that fill and flood through your body. And now imagining one place in the world that you would love to send more of this juicy energy towards. So imagine you could shoot this up into the sky. And this place and time, this need, this wish, this blessing can be filled with all this love. You can even stretch your arms up, shoot it upwards, like a gratitude rocket. Whatever it may be. Okay. And knowing that you can come back to this sensation, this feeling sense that you can hold and bring that gratitude within your body, period. You can choose to bring it in your body and send it out. There's no right or wrong way. So continuing to connect with the thank you. Good. All right. So thank you for being here with me. Thank you for everyone that chatted, put things in the chat box. You can see someone acknowledging their maternal grandmother, Mackie, and all the people that put names in, that shared some part of their experience. All that is wonderful. And thank you. And for many of you that just were a part of this in any way that you were, even if you didn't type anything or say anything, I could certainly feel you and want to thank you for showing up and being here with me. And thank you for being with yourself. And thank you for continuing to hold and open during some very uncertain times. And we have more really great things coming up on the schedule. So go ahead and check that out on Heather Ashamara's Facebook page. I think the schedule is listed in several different areas. I believe she may be coming up. I hope I'm not speaking out of turn. She may be coming up to do a little bit of altar time, or that may be what is next. And I know for sure there'll be a meditation tomorrow, and I will actually be back on doing some kind of different talk around gratitude and grounding at 1 p.m. So, all right. Oh, we will get to talking about the veil being thin some other time. Yeah. Yeah. And Mary, your blessing. Thank you. What's your name? My name is Mary Nicosia. Hello, Leslie from Albuquerque. Thanks for all the emojis. Okay. All my love. I'll see you tomorrow, 12 o'clock Central. Bye.